Hello there.
I am the king!
What's up, Headless Horde? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about my favorite scene from each episode of House of the Dragon. We're talking episodes 6 through 10. If you didn't check out the first part of this series on my favorite episode from episodes 1 through 5, I will link it up above and also in the description. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video because I'm once again collaborating with Ryan Milky as we're both making similar videos to see how we feel about the second half of the season. Lastly, I just want to thank everybody out there who enjoys my content. I just went over 300 subscribers and I couldn't be more appreciative. Please don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and now let's get to the top 5 scenes. So episode 6 starts off with about a 10-year time jump, and we see that Rhaenyra and Alicent have both aged. Now this is when the new actresses take over the roles. We've also seen that their children are now older, and plus Rhaenyra has now had her third son who goes by the name of Joffrey. The other thing we get to see in this episode is that Daemon has taken a wife by the name of Lena Valerian. Now if that name sounds familiar to you, it is the same little girl that Viserys was going to marry back in episode 2. She is the daughter of Corlys Valerian and also Viserys' cousin Rhaenys Targaryen. My favorite scene in episode 6 is when Lena goes into labor with her and Daemon's third child. And just like way back in episode 1, when Viserys' wife Emma went into labor, Daemon now has to make the same choice as his brother. But what happens here is Lena takes it into her own hands and goes out to the courtyard where her dragon Vhagar is waiting for her. She begs Vhagar over and over again to kill her and her unborn child because she knows what the situation is. And after some convincing and screaming and yelling, Vhagar ends up burning her to death in front of Daemon. I feel like this is the scene where the audience starts to really feel for Daemon and ends up turning him to more of a anti-hero than a villain. Episode 7 is probably one of my favorite episodes of the season. So in this episode, we get to see a lot of the young children of Alicent and of Rhaenyra. And my favorite scene, after Aemon claims Vhagar, the Valerian children are not very happy because that dragon was their mother's. At the start of the episode, we see the funeral for Lena. And then after the funeral, that leads us to this scene where all of the kids are getting in a big fist fight. Now, the only person that's absent from this fight is Aegon, because he's off drunk and passed out. But what ends up happening here is that Aemon overpowers Jacaerys and Lucerys, and as he is getting ready to pummel the boys, Jacaerys takes out the knife and drops it, and then Lucerys picks it up and ends up cutting out Aemon's eye. I think this scene really sets up what type of villain that Aemon's going to be, and also how much more of a force he's going to be than his brother Aegon, at least at this point in the story. The other thing I really like about this scene is that I think it's filmed beautifully, and I do like that finally we get to see one of the so-called villains lose. In episode 8, we see Viserys is severely weakened from the last couple episodes. And what we're talking about here in the throne room is who will be taking over as king or queen of the Seven Kingdoms once Viserys passes on. As a weakened Viserys attempts to walk up the stairs to the throne, he doesn't want any help from the guards. And as he's walking up, he drops his crown onto the ground and tries to pick it up. And then what happens is Daemon comes up next to his brother, helps him finish the journey to the throne, and then places the throne upon his head. For me, this is one of my favorite moments of the show, as we're really focusing on Daemon becoming a likable character. The final scene in episode 9 is one of my favorites of the season as well, and this is when Aegon is crowned king of the Seven Kingdoms without Rhaenyra even knowing, because at this point in the show, she is in Dragonstone. After Aegon gets crowned, and everyone seems to be happy for him, because at this point, remember, Viserys has passed away, everyone cheers, and then the big explosion happens when Rhaenys comes blasting through the floor of the Red Keep on Meleys. Now remember, she was locked in her room almost this entire episode, so she was able to make her way down to get Meleys, and here she is basically causing Daenerys type destruction. The only thing is that she's not burning anyone. At this point in the timeline, she still believes that she does have a claim to the Iron Throne. As they advance onto the wedding party, you can see that Alicent's parental instincts take over as she jumps in front of Aegon. Now it's funny because here I thought Rhaenys was going to burn them all, but instead Meleys basically blows air at him, and I feel like Rhaenys is saying, "This is my power move." After staring down Otto and Alicent and Aegon, she takes off for Dragonstone, where she then will tell Rhaenyra that her father has passed away and Aegon has now been sworn in as the new Lord of the Seven Kingdoms. In episode 10, we see that Jacaerys and Lucerys have become older. So they are going to try to find some allies that will group up with them to take down the Greens. My favorite scene is when Lucerys lands on Storm's End to talk to the Baratheons. And once he gets off of his dragon, once he looks to the left, it's almost like a scene out of Godzilla. But we see Vhagar just kind of standing there, and the creature is just massive. I love this scene so much, and that is my favorite scene in episode 10, the finale. The bonus scene that I've selected for the second half of the season is the season when we see Harlan Strong and his father get taken out. The reason why I picked this scene is because I believe without this happening, Daemon and Rhaenyra would never have regained their trust and would never have pursued the relationship. So I really think that without this scene itself, we may not even be where we are right now in the current timeline. So what was your favorite scene in the second half of the season? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out Ryan's video that will be linked in the description below and also at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in the next video. And like always, don't forget, keep those heads up.